Welcome to day 103.
It's about 59 degrees, or at least that's how cold it was at 5:30 this morning, which was technically sunrise. Kind of mixed overcast. It's overcast. There's a little blue sucker hole right there, but it's overcast. Winds are pretty brisk. It's chilly. We have 10 miles to go today. We're going to go down into Crawford Notch and then right back out. So, should be a full day.
Full day of rock hopping.
Yeah. It is 7:07. And we just left the Ethan Pond shelter. We are back on the trail. There's the trailhead across the road. We've reached Crawford Gap. That's the good news. There's the bad news. We're climbing that today. So we're 2 hours in for the day.
We've come 3.8 miles.
And we've come 400 feet up out of Crawford's Notch.
So we got about 2,400 feet to go.
First Jolly Rancher, almost gone.
Almost time for second breakfast.
True. Because of our late heavy snack at the Zealand Falls Hut yesterday, we kind of skipped dinner and instead we had snacks. But we're paying for it now because we've got this big climb and we don't have enough fuel in the system. So we're taking our lunch break at
9:30.
9:30. Yeah. That's what you do to manage energy.
Right. Got to put the fuel in.
Yeah. Oh, and lunch today is prosciutto on a Pepperidge Farm onion roll, and the whole thing is very, very tasty.
Yum.
Yeah, good fuel.
Yeah, I'm not going to keep you long because we have to keep moving. We still have 3 hours to get to our campsite, and it's all up the side of a mountain. But I wanted to let you know we did okay last night, but we didn't have cell coverage. And if we have coverage tonight, I'll try to give you a call.
Okay, thank you.
We're 4 hours in now, and we still have 1,000 feet left on this climb. Parts of this climb have been, they've been frightening. I don't like to be the kind of person who's scared of things, but some of these rock faces are very, very sheer, and they kind of drop off into the void, and they're wet.
And they come apart. There's
Yeah.
that crackly granite that fractures below your feet.
And sometimes what we're climbing is just this thin layer of moss on top of a piece of granite.
Yeah. But we've
It's,
come 5.1 miles in 4 hours, so we're actually holding our pace pretty well.
Yeah, all things considered.
Yeah.
So, Probably 800 more feet to climb, we think.
About 850.
Yeah, 850 more left to climb on this mountain, and then we've got multiple peaks between us and the place we're going to camp tonight. But we're still moving.
Making progress.
Yeah.
One step at a time.
Yeah. This is the summit of Mount Webster. This one shook my confidence. Nobody talks about this being the hardest one, so I know the ones coming up are harder. But this was pretty awful. It wasn't the elevation, because we can handle that. I can climb all day. It was how we climbed. It was technical, and yet we didn't have ropes or any kind of safety equipment. It was just bouldering higher and higher and higher on steeper and steeper faces.
Top of Webster. This was a very tough technical climb. We made it. summit of, I think it's Jackson.
Okay.
And that's Mount Washington in the back here.
Right there. You can see all the antennas and stuff.
Don't want to step there.
There is no bottom.
And we are ever so grateful to have planks. We have arrived. It's 15:23, and we've got food from the Mizpah Hut. Our tent is set up on a platform, and we did it like we knew what we were doing, which we didn't, but it looks awesome. We've got armloads of food, and we're gonna just sit here and snack and enjoy all this good food. What do you say, Slider?
What to eat?
Apocalyptic looking spot, and there's tents set up everywhere. It's a very busy time for them. We used a combination. Got some stakes holding some of the cables. These we're just using the knots because they don't have much tension on them. This one's another one with a stake. Okay, Slider came up with this one. I don't know how he figured this one out. And I'm not going to touch it. Just a little bit off from the cleat. This one, the cleat was a bit of a stretch. And then a couple of stakes wedged into the wood. In between the pieces of wood.
And 3 people ended up sleeping under the shelter.
No. Just no.
I would not have done that. You're fine.
Here we are, life in the hood.
Right.
Yeah, I gotta take a picture of this too. I'm not gonna be eating the Snickers.
Yep. And well, look who else is joining you.
Beginning to a payday. There you go. You can't go wrong with those. Well, paydays.
So, today, I cried.
Today was a tough day. We hiked 9.7 miles in a little over 8 hours, and we climbed 3,700 feet.
And climbing 3,700 feet, not that bad, but climbing up a 60-foot rock face with no technical gear and incredible exposure and not a lot of handholds. Some of the rock was wet.
Made you a little nervous, huh?
That was bad. That was just bad. I don't like that. And there's the base of one hill, and let's just call it the Wailing Wall. I was pretty unhappy at that point, but I knew that what was behind me would have been just as difficult to descend. So I straightened my crown and remembered whose daughter I was, and I swallowed down the fear, and I climbed that thing. And then I climbed the 15 more of those rock walls that we had after that.
Yeah.
That was my day.
Then we walked across the swamp that was like, I don't know how deep.
So
we climbed Mount Webster first, right?
Yeah.
Webster Cliffs. The views were stunning. It was really beautiful up there.
Yeah, but my joy didn't come back until we reached Mizpah Hut. And they were open for lunch, and so at 3 o'clock we tucked into some snacks, some delicious food.
Yep.
We had chips and chocolate chip cookie bars and chocolate bars and We rehydrated like crazy, and the weather's beautiful, and I was able to kind of celebrate the day, and that's when my joy came back.
Yeah. So we're all set up in our campsite. We're actually up on a wooden platform.
Which is a first for us,
Yeah.
so that was a learning curve.
There's a little engineering that had to go into setting up the tent, but there are three tents on this platform.
So 4 people staying here
yeah.
on this platform, and
all-
we know everybody.
All people we know.
Yeah.
And then we'll get up bright and early in the morning and do it all over again.
And hopefully I won't cry.
You're tougher than you think you are.
I think there's a Winnie the Pooh quote in there somewhere.
Thanks for joining us.